What is critical race theory and is it racist? A recent poll by the advocacy group Parents Defending Education claimed some schools were teaching that white people are inherently privileged, while black and other people of color are inherently oppressed and victimized, that achieving racial justice and equality between racial groups requires discriminating against people based on their whiteness, and that the United States was founded on racism. Thus, much of the current debate appears to spring not from the academic texts, but from fear among critics that students, especially white students, will be exposed to supposedly damaging or self-demoralizing ideas. The critical race theory or C.R.T. says that racism is part of everyday life, so people, white or non-white, who don't intend to be racist can nevertheless make choices that fuel racism. Fundamentally, though, the disagreement stems from different perspectives on racism. C.R.T. puts an emphasis on outcomes, not merely on individuals' own beliefs, and it calls on these outcomes to be examined and rectified. Among lawyers, teachers, policymakers, and the general public, there are many disagreements about how precisely to do those things, and to what extent race should be explicitly appealed to or referred to in the process. In a 2007 U.S. Supreme Court school assignment case on whether race could be a factor in maintaining diversity in K-12 schools, Chief Justice John Roberts' opinion famously concluded, "The way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race." But during oral arguments, then Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, "It's very hard for me to see how you can have a racial objective but a non-racial means to get there." What does any of this have to do with K-12 education? Scholars who study critical race theory in education look at how policies and practices in K-12 education contribute to persistent racial inequalities in education, and advocate for ways to change them. Among the topics they've studied, racially segregated schools, the underfunding of majority black and Latino school districts, disproportionate disciplining of black students, barriers to gifted programs and selective admission high schools, and curricula that reinforce racist ideas. Critical race theory is not a synonym for culturally relevant teaching, which emerged in the 1990s. This teaching approach seeks to affirm students' ethnic and racial backgrounds, and is intellectually rigorous. But it's related in that one of its aims is to help students identify and critique the causes of social inequality in their own lives. Many educators support, to one degree or another, culturally relevant teaching and other strategies to make schools feel safe and supportive for black students and other underserved populations. As one teacher-educator put it, "The way we usually see any of this in a classroom is, have I thought about how my black kids feel? And made a space for them, so that they can be successful." That is the level I think it stays at, for most teachers. As with C.R.T. in general, its popular representation in schools has been far less nuanced. While some district officials have issued mission statements, resolutions, or spoken about changes in their policies using some of the discourse of C.R.T., it's not clear to what degree educators are explicitly teaching the concepts, or even using curriculum materials or other methods that implicitly draw on them. In 2021, Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis, pushed for the Stop Woke Act, which aims to fight back against the woke indoctrination and prohibits the teaching of critical race theory. However, some of the bills are so vaguely written that it's unclear what they will affirmatively cover. Could a teacher who wants to talk about a factual instance of state-sponsored racism, like the establishment of Jim Crow, the series of laws that prevented black Americans from voting or holding office and separated them from white people in public spaces, be considered in violation of these laws? It's also unclear whether these new bills are constitutional, or whether they restrict free speech. It would be extremely difficult, in any case, to police what goes on inside hundreds of thousands of classrooms. But social studies educators fear that such laws could have a chilling effect on teachers who might self-censor their own lessons out of concern for parent or administrator complaints. As English teacher Mike Stein told Chalkbeat Tennessee about the new law, history teachers cannot adequately teach about the Trail of Tears, the Civil War, and the Civil Rights Movement. English teachers will have to avoid teaching almost any text by an African American author because many of them mention racism to various extents. The laws could also become a tool to attack other pieces of the curriculum, including ethnic studies and action civics, an approach to civics education that asks students to research local civic problems and propose solutions. How is this related to other debates over what's taught in the classroom amid K-12 culture wars? The charge that schools are indoctrinating students in a harmful theory or political mindset is a long-standing one, historians note. C.R.T. appears to be the latest salvo in this ongoing debate. In history, the debates have focused on the balance among patriotism and American exceptionalism, on one hand, and the country's history of exclusion and violence towards indigenous people and the enslavement of African Americans on the other, between its ideals and its practices. We'd love to hear your thoughts about critical race theory and the Stop Woke Act. As a reminder, the Black History Legends channel provides unbiased information. Comments should remain respectful. Thank you for watching.